I've never seen a reigning champion get disrespected as much as Jayson Tatum does. It seems like whenever any of these podcasters or analysts get the chance, they're going at Tatum's throat, and he's been getting clowned in the face of the NBA conversations that we've been having. He's like begging to be the face of the NBA, but nobody wants to give it to the man, and at this point, it's obvious. People don't see him on the same level as past superstars. They don't feel that same nostalgia. It's the same conversation over and over again.
We talk about Magic and Bird and Dr. J. You know who we don't talk about? Tim Duncan, Karl Malone. They're great players. Jayson Tatum's going to retire. 4 years later, there'll be no Jayson Tatum talk.
4 years later, there will be no Jayson Tatum talk? That's what he really said? I can agree with that if the conversation around him remains the same. If Colin keeps going on his podcast and all the other guys talking down on Tatum, then yeah, he's gonna end his career like a Tim Duncan. A really great player, but not as discussed because he didn't have the same feel as a guy like Michael Jordan. The issue with the attitude around Tatum staying the same is that it doesn't give him a chance to make legendary moments and show what he can be remembered by. Give him a second chance so maybe he won't repeat his past mistakes of trying to make a legendary moment.
Man, I'm so hyped right now. Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Just what's it feel like to finally be a champion?
Oh my God. It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it! Oh my God, we did it!
For me, I don't think copying Kevin Garnett is that big of a deal, but it's definitely not a plus. All it did was hurt him. As a basketball fan, I just want the ratings in the game to be more popular, and after LeBron and Curry retire, the league is going to need somebody to take over. If you look at the resume of Tatum, you'd think he's a guy for the job. 5-time NBA All-Star, 3-time All-NBA first-team selection, Olympic gold medalist, and an NBA champion. Focus on that last one, NBA champion. Jayson Tatum is an NBA champion. He doesn't get the respect you'd think he'd get for such an accomplishment, and it's all because the discourse around him is that he has no aura. And aura is just a buzzword at this point in the way that it's being used, because what does that even mean? Would I rather not have seen him celebrate in the fashion he did? Probably. But stop saying they have to have aura, cause nobody's perfect. We literally got a bunch of clips of LeBron going live just to karaoke to songs he doesn't know more than 2 lines of. See what I mean? Sure, LeBron's had some better moments than Tatum when he's on the basketball court, like I don't think he copy as much as Tatum does, but off the court he can get clowned from time to time. It's not that big of a deal. The NBA right now is desperate for a new face, and Tatum is a somewhat recognizable person, but at this point I don't know if he'll ever get taken seriously because there's so many videos talking negative about him and how he has no chance to be that guy, and so the consumers of these videos are having this agenda pushed on them that Jayson Tatum is cringy or Jayson Tatum is going to be forgotten, and I could make a whole nother video about how the NBA space is having a negativity epidemic, myself included. I'm not always positive about the players, but I try my best. Some of these other guys though, like Colin Cowherd for instance, he has several videos hating on Tatum, and there's nothing wrong with not liking a player, but you have to be conscious about the place that the NBA is in right now. Right now, at this very moment, the NBA is trying to find a new face of the league, and so Colin Cowherd going on a show putting a player who's a candidate for the face of the league on blast isn't helping anyone. It certainly isn't helping him, because if everybody has a negative viewpoint of the NBA stars, then nobody will watch, and Colin's going to be out of a job, and that's an extreme example, but you get the point. People who are in content creation hating on the very topic that keeps them relevant is counterproductive. That's like if I was a 2K YouTuber and I was saying 2K's trash and the gameplay's boring to watch, and in the same breath say that I wanted people to support my channel. That wouldn't feel right because I'm surrounding my content around something I don't even support or like. I say all of that to say that I feel like some people in this space do that, and to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being critical. I think Colin Cowherd has some pretty good points when he was talking about how other players seem more memorable than Tatum or have a somewhat more recognizable persona or game. That's all fair, but when you're just hating to hate, that's not going to push the game forward. The negativity has gotten to a point that the next stars don't even want to be in the conversation for the face of the league.
Do you consider yourself the top candidate to be the next face of the league?
No, not really.
Why?
That's what they got win before.
That's Ant-Man straight up saying he's not interested. So this makes it all funny to me, that a bunch of people want Edwards to be the face of the league even though he doesn't want it, yet people want to take Tatum out of that conversation even though he's literally begging for the spot. I get it, Edwards has some personality to him and he can jump, so it looks like he's next up. And he's for sure a good pick, but I don't know if I fall into that group of people who say, well, Edwards said he didn't want to be the face of the league, so who's next? Like, no, Edwards can still be that guy whether he likes it or not. LeBron didn't get to choose to be the face of the league, even though he clearly wanted to with that chosen one tat. My point still stands though. The NBA can market Ant heavily and make him the player that everybody thinks of when the NBA is discussed. Whether he likes it or not, it's literally not up to him. He's still going to show up in the Sprite commercials regardless. His name's gonna be known. Ant is not gonna give up a bag to be in a commercial just because he doesn't want to be seen. Because the truth of the matter is, he does want to be seen. He doesn't want to just hoop and go home like he claims. Remember, he's a showboater. He gets all extra when it comes to the celebrations and dunks from time to time. So I don't know why he's trying to act like a Tim Duncan. Right now, I'm trying to figure out why Anthony Edwards would say something like he doesn't want to be the face of the league. I understand that there's some pressure that comes with it, but him saying he doesn't want that spot doesn't mean he isn't gonna get it, if you know what I mean. So what he did was basically pointless. He didn't mention Wemby as another candidate though, which I think is pretty interesting. It made me think, why isn't anybody putting Wemby in the conversation? Before he got ruled out for the rest of this season, he was hooping, yet nobody ever talks about him. I guess a lot of players who've been the face of the league have been perimeter oriented, but they've also been players who are considered generational, and Wemby is often considered generational as well, yet nobody wants to give him his flowers. I really don't understand why. I understand to an extent why that's the case with Tatum. I mean, Tatum's a star of Boston, and the Celtics are one of the most hated franchises just because they're so dominant. Wemby, on the other hand, doesn't seem like he falls into the same category. He hasn't done anything that would rule him out of the conversation, but people simply don't consider him. But back to Tatum, because my question is, what can he do to get himself back in the conversation? How can he get more people on his side? I feel like at Duke he wasn't hated this much. I feel like the sentiment around him at the time was pretty neutral and people were just curious to see how he would pan out. But then things started to change and the negativity started to get loud. But hey, a bunch of people made a career hating on LeBron because he's so easy to talk about because he's just that good. Maybe it could be the same situation with Tatum. Maybe he's starting to get recognized as a superstar, so people are reverting to hating on him for clicks. Who knows? But that was just some thoughts on this whole situation. But what do you think? Can Jayson Tatum be the face of the league? Tell me in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.